On that note, Julia, how does the publisher or the writer get in touch with you to commission for a new project?
It rests with the studios, really.
Oh.
And they, I mean, I've worked for a lot of studios down the years. They get in touch with the author and send samples of your work and say, we think for this book, one of these readers would be right for you. And they send 5 or 6 readers samples off.
Oh, yeah.
And the final decision is with the writer.
Right.
And if the writer likes your voice, that's how you get the work.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, I work now for studios in Leicester and Oxford mostly, where they know me. So I will get repeat work from them because I've done similar stuff before, or a writer particularly likes what I've done. The other thing is they're too kind to tell you when you haven't got it, but you know when you haven't heard that you have it.
Yeah.
But we went to a literary festival one time, and I went with a friend, and there was a writer there who had written a book that she was talking about, and I had been put forward for this book, and I knew that I had, and I knew I hadn't got the book. So anyway, my friend, who was a lot braver than I, said, do you get a choice of reader when you get an audience? I do.
Awkward.
I was just standing behind. She didn't know who I was. And so she said, yes, they've just sent me some samples and I know who I don't want. And I thought, oh no. It brings you back down to earth. All that sort of thing. That's how the casting happens. But you get cast in the same way as you would for a stage play or a radio play or anything like that. All the stuff I do is single voice. Well, no, not entirely. Some books have very distinct markings, don't they? It's character 1 and character 2, and sometimes it's a man and a woman. Yeah. So I have done a few of those where a man will do half the book. Half the book, because that's the character. Yeah. I did a book called The Librarian a year or 2 back, and there was a young boy reading all the young boy parts, and I read the older woman in that. But mostly it's just you and your imagination. And what happens is you quite quickly develop an idea about what a character looks like. I have to have a really good physical idea of what a character looks like to give it the voice. Yeah. The clothes they wear, how fat or how thin they are, how tall they are, where they, and I mean, sometimes you get authors who say somebody's lived in Cornwall all his life, then he went to New Zealand and he's got a New Zealand Cornish accent.
Oh dear, that's funny.
I have a great friend who writes a crime series set here in the Staffordshire Moorlands, and she said, and I do her books, they're about a police inspector in Leek in the Moorlands, and she said, I'm going to give you a character who is West Indian but has lived in France, and he's got a whistling tooth. He's got a big gap between his.
Okay, impossible.
Thank you. Well, it is impossible. He hasn't appeared yet, thank God.